This time on Street Rat Garage, rescuing this 1951 Buick that has been sitting for about 25 years. And it looks like it. Ew. All right, today we have a little bit of a challenge because this Buick has not been on the road for about 25 years, give or take. Probably give a lot. It's a mess. So yeah, let's get started. Well, the first thing I would like to do is try and see if these tires, if any of them will hold air, and see if we can even find some of the tires. They are in the ground right now. I would like to get this pulled out of the shadows here. That one actually has a little bit of air in it. So yeah, we got a little bit of air there in one tire. That one's flat, and I can't tell about the other one because it is in the ground. But yeah, we need to get this, see if we can get these tires aired up and get this pulled out of this hole that it's in and into, at least into the sun a little bit where it's a little bit warmer. So I am just going to pull our old yard truck up here and hook up our air pump and see if we can't breathe a little life into these tires. It looks like most of the tires are old bias ply, probably from, you know, the 70s or something like that. I don't know. Hopefully they will hold air long enough for me to pull them out of this hole that this car has dug itself into. Okay, it looks like this tire is actually holding a little bit of air as well, so at least on two tires I'm sure we can get some air. I don't know on the rest, but yeah, this one is definitely a bias ply tire. What is that? I don't know what that is. Something DS Premium, about all I can read on that. But let's see if we can get this aired up. All right, this one is hiding a bit. And I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Yeah. There she is. Just get this one hooked up, and she is flat, and buried in the ground. It hasn't even been sitting, it hasn't been in this spot for 25 years. The car was sitting, I actually just brought it here a few years ago and let it sit and haven't done anything with it. So let's see if we can't get this aired up. Okay, we got that back one aired up. We got this front one aired up. This one, I think, is good enough. It has like 15 pounds in it. And now I'm trying to add air to this back one, and it's going up. So the one back on that side is already leaking. So we have about 5 minutes, give or take, to get this pulled out of here and into the sunlight where we can do a little bit of work on it. So let me hurry up, get this truck turned around, get a tow strap hooked to it, and let's start pulling this thing out of here. The tires are topped off. Just get this thing back up here quickly before we run out of air in that one tire. Now, I didn't find my tow strap, but I have this ratchet strap, which is good to about 3,000 pounds. And probably what the weight of this car is. And we'll hook it onto this truck that has a rusty frame and see which one gives first. Wonder if I took it out of park. I should probably check that. Is it still in park? It is in park. So, okay. No longer in park. Oh, don't break strap. Don't break frame. Are we in 4 high? Yeah. Maybe we should be in 4 low. Okay, 4 low. Oh, come on. Come on. Here she goes. Let's just pull her easy. Don't hit that rototiller that's right there. Carefully. Got a block down there so it doesn't get too out of hand. Oh, the wheel's turning. All right, come along. Not too fast. Nice and easy. Don't roll around. Don't roll into me. Keep her coming. Come on. You can do it. Oh, not too close to the stairs. Just a little bit at a time. That's weird. The wheel keeps turning to the left, but it worked out this time, right where I need it. So come on along. There she comes. Now maybe it'll turn back a little bit on its own. That would be nice. And it is. It's starting to turn a little bit. There she goes. Keep turning. Follow me. Follow me. Nice. Whoop. Oh, stop, 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 stop. Oh my gosh. Woo. That was a close one. I don't know where she was going, but she was going. Back in park. I guess I should have reached in there and threw it up in park. I broke the cheap tow strap. Okay, crisis diverted. Well, maybe we should just work on it right here. We can get it running, then we can move it around a little bit. But yeah, it almost got away. It's all downhill from here. If I hadn't caught it, it would have just kept on going until it ran into a tree or something back there. So yeah, always use good straps when you're towing something. So if you've never seen it before, this Buick hood is actually, it lifts sideways and it will go in either direction. Now, currently, this one is not even bolted down to the swivel hinges, so we're just going to pick this completely up and remove it off of the car and make our life a little bit easier. But when this is working properly, it's a flip hood, and it looks pretty cool actually. Okay, let's get you in here and have a look to see what we have going on. So we have the good old Buick inline 8-cylinder. As you can see, everything is in the car. It's all there. This is actually a 6-volt system. It's got that long 6-volt battery that goes there. Now, we currently do not have a 6-volt battery for the car, but we're going to go ahead and throw in the 12-volt, and we should be okay, just as long as we, aren't flicking on the lights and what have you. I'm pretty sure the alternator is probably not going to work anyway, and it'll be good enough to try to get this thing fired up and see if she's going to run on her own. Another issue we have here are these wires, these old fabric covered wires. The fabric is long gone out of this section right here, and these wires they're kind of touching each other. And we got this exposed breaker box solenoid, not really solenoid, it's point system there, so we may have some issues getting this thing started up. But the carburetor seems to be a little bit frozen up, so let's start by just spraying this thing down a little bit and getting some functionality out of the carburetor and go from there. Okay, got the old WD out, and we're just gonna touch a couple places, here and there, and here and there, and anywhere else that may be a problem, like, I don't know, there maybe, and maybe just a little bit right there should maybe bring stuff around a little bit better. Okay, let's just cram a screwdriver in there and see if we can't, there she goes, broke loose. Work that back and forth a little bit. It wasn't stuck much, just a little bit. Make sure the choke works. Butterflies are opening good. Now let's go ahead and grab a hold of this fan and see if we can get the engine to turn over here. And well, that was way easy. The engine spins. Give it a revolution or two, see if it hangs up anywhere. And it feels like it has plenty of compression. I mean, it's difficult to turn it, but it doesn't appear to be dragging on anything. So these old inline 8-cylinders, they were sealed up pretty well. So I'm not surprised that it just sort of turns over like that. And yeah, definitely have compression on that. So we have an engine that turns over, and obviously it has compression. So we are way ahead of the game. Now what I would really like to do next is get some of this debris and leaves out of here so that we don't have a big fire when we get this thing fired up, hopefully. Okay, well, that is way better. And just a couple little leaves there left. But yeah, that definitely is gonna divert our fire issue, especially with these bare wires that we have lying around here. I'm gonna try to separate these as good as I can, but they are a mess, and I'm sure they're gonna cause us some issues. Okay, well, now let's move on to something else. Well, we haven't done our walk around of this car yet, so let's take a break and have a look and see what all we have here. So like I said, it's a 1951 Buick. It's fairly solid. I mean, this is probably the worst side. I mean, it's got this this dent right here. I can't tell if that's there's no real scratches here. It may be just somebody got angry and kicked that. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a footprint there. But we have looks like a little body filler right in this area, maybe right here. The door doesn't close real good, but there it goes. You can tell it's not quite aligned. So because of this dent. But we got a little bit of rust here. See the rocker panels. Somebody's done some work to this at one time. The rocker panels have some Bondo in them, some body filler. There's a hole in the bottom of that one. So not great, but not awful for as old as this car is. Yeah, let's see. Quarter panel is pretty solid. It's all solid back there. We got plenty of leaves. Oh, I gotta see if we got the key. I had the key somewhere. Hope it's still in the ignition. See, now that plate says 2011, but I believe the deal was they had to put a plate on the car in order to leave it sit around. So it was plated like once, and that appeased them. So the car wasn't running; it was sitting. So in 2011 they had to put a license plate on it, and apparently they didn't have to fool with it after that. But it still wasn't running at that in 2011. So back to the quarter panels. That one's in good shape. This side of the car is pretty decent. I mean, we got a little bit of rust right there. This door is solid. That rocker panel seems solid. That fender, all that is in good shape. And if we have a look inside here, not as good as I would like. So yeah, we have a pretty sizable hole that has been patched up at one time. So somebody just threw some sheet metal over there. We have some rodents that have probably been in there and eating the back of the seat. We got a little bit of hole on that side on the floor pan back seat. And yeah, not pretty. Not pretty on the inside. Oh, there's the key. And gonna have to lube up that latch a little bit. It doesn't want to close now. Yeah, let's look on this side, see what we have. So this side we have pretty much the same thing. We got some floor patches that are starting to rust right there, and that. And yeah, we have the key, so we're good to go there. I'm gonna hit this brake real quick, and whoa, just straight to the floor. Now these, where are the master cylinders? They're usually down low someplace. It's not on the firewall here. There it is. It's way down there. Now on these master cylinders, they oftentimes go dry on the older cars, but a lot of the time you can just go ahead and put some brake fluid in it. I have some right there, and I was going to try it. And I think while we're waiting, we'll go ahead and throw that brake fluid in there and give it a little time for that air to rise. I don't know what it is, but when they're close to the floor like that, closer to the ground, they seem to bleed out a lot easier by themselves, and you actually get some brake pedal. But yeah, that's a body overall. Let's see if we can get into the trunk real quick. Okay, I don't know which one of these are the trunk key. Oh, that was left open. That little flippy doodle. There it goes. And I'm just going to stand up and open this because I don't know what's in there. Ooh. Okay. There's a gas tank. So yeah, there's a gas tank there. So that means we probably don't have one under the car. There's some shells and stuff from some animals that have been inside of there. So hopefully when we move some of that stuff around, nobody jumps out at us. There's a big hole in the floorboard. I really want to dig into that stuff, but there's got to be something living in there. I don't want to fool with it right now. So we're going to leave that trunk open, and anybody that's living in there can go ahead and leave, and then we'll come back to that. And lastly, I just want to look at this grill. I mean, I really like the grills on a Buick. I mean, it's just so big and in your face and toothy. I don't know how many teeth those are, and I'm not going to count them right now, but there's a bunch of teeth in these. I don't know, do you still call these dag bars on a Buick? The front cones with the, they got little lights inside of them too, running lights. That's cool, or parking lights probably. But yeah, the front end of a Buick is really stylish, and the fake port holes that don't go anywhere. Yeah, they don't go anywhere. but they're just for design. You got plenty of chrome on one of these. And what is the model name on this? This is a Dynaflow. That's not what you call it. It's not a Dynaflow. It's a Super. So 1951 Buick Super. What's a Dynaflow? Dynaflow package? I don't know. I'll have to research that. But yeah, nice car overall. So let's get back to seeing if she will start now. All right, next up would be, does it have oil in it? Sometimes I get ahead of myself and I don't check and see if they have oil in it. And yes, it is way full of oil, and there doesn't appear to be any water on the end of the dipstick. And while we're here, might as well pull the transmission. I mean, doesn't smell great, but it's not all too brown. That's not bad. So we got that. What else should we check? Oh, we were going to do the thing with the brakes. Let me go ahead and grab a wrench there. I'm going to take that top off of there, pour some brake fluid in there, and see if we can't get a little bit of brake back. Okay, got the old cap loosened up there. And that's just a ridiculous place, and it is bone dry. Yeah, that is not an easy way if you have to service your own car back in the day. I'm sure that did not make the people at the service station's life any easier. And I guess you just got to take a long funnel and just shove it down there and pour your brake fluid in and try not to overfill it like I just did. Doesn't take much. I mean, it's just a single pod master cylinder, so that means when you lose brake fluid or break one line, then you have absolutely zero brakes. Now, I would like to get in there and pump those brakes, but I would also not like to sit in the seat, which looks disgusting, so we are going to use the vacuum again. Suck some of this nastiness out of here so we can get in there and pump on our brakes. Okay, I vacuumed it out, but it still doesn't look good, so I think we're just going to use this tarp here, which is way too big, but I'm going to fold it in half and just sort of shove it in there, just to give me a little protection from whatever might be hiding. There we go. Nicely reupholstered front bench seat for a 1951 Buick Super. Now I feel a little bit better about sitting in here and giving these brakes a few pumps. Holding them down, pumping them up. And oh, well, yeah, something's starting to happen. Yeah, there was nothing at first. And pump, pump, pump. I'm holding them right there, and it's about halfway. It's actually working. It's actually holding pressure. There was nothing in the reservoir at all, but about 10 seconds of pumping those brakes, and now we have brake pressure. It might go away after a little while, and I'll have to pump it, but yeah, I mean, it goes about, if I let it sit, it goes about 3/4 of the way back down, but I can just give it a couple pumps and it comes back up. So there is something to be said about the old style brakes. They like to come back around a lot easier. Now I think it's time to see if we can get this thing to cranking. Now, like I said before, this is a 6-volt system. This is a 12-volt battery. So what you can do is go get you one of your old batteries that has been lying around for a little while and doesn't exactly have 12 volts in it any longer. And if you're afraid, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this 12 volter in here and hook her up and see what happens. Now, on these old Buicks, you've heard of the starter button on the floor. Well, this has a different version of it. The starter switch is actually engaged when you depress the accelerator pedal all the way to the floor. So what we can do, we can come out here, just grab a hold of the throttle linkage and pull it back. I mean, it made a clicking sound like the solenoid clicked in, but it's not engaging. So now we gotta start checking things and beating on the starter maybe. So I'm just gonna come over here and check my connections real quick. The main wire going to the starter is a little bit loose. Let's try that. Yeah, just clicks a little bit and then goes away. All right, we're gonna trace down some wiring issues and see what we got. Well, you totally just missed it, but that tire, it just exploded. I mean, I was on the other side of the car messing with the engine, and just all of a sudden, kapow! It was awful. So yeah, always be careful when you're airing up your tires, because that could have happened, you know, when I was sitting there messing with that tire. That was scary. Looks like I am gonna have to get out the old ohm meter. What is that noise? Now I'm scared of noises. And see if we have any power going through the switch that activates the starter. And yes, there. Okay. Well, we got power going. We got power going in. There's a little, almost like a solenoid type deal on the side of the carburetor. So when the pedal is depressed all the way, it closes that circuit and sends power to the solenoid. So this is the other side of the wire. So let's see if we got power going out, which it's a little, no, we don't have the right amount of power coming out. So I think we have an issue with this switch right here. I'm going to try to jumper it and see if we can't get a little action on the old starter here. So if you can see this, there's sort of a switch right here on the carburetor, and these wires are bare, you know, just like some of those other wires are, but they're still hooked up. But when we depress the throttle, there's a linkage right here that closes this circuit, and these wires, which are also hacked in here, run to the starter solenoid to, you know, activate the starter and make it all turn, and it's not doing that. So I'm going to get a jumper wire and see if we can't jumper across that to see if our starter is working. Before I try that, I am going to do that try to short across a solenoid from up here, since the starter is right there. So let me see if I can't do that little screwdriver trick and see what we got. It's not spinning. Not spinning. So that should be the solenoid kicking out. Oop. Yep. Oof. Yikes. Well, the motor's turning, but the solenoid's not kicking out. So give it some hits with the old hammer here. Maybe we can get that solenoid to kick out. Turn that engine. Whoop. There she goes. Woo. Well, that got hot. That got hot quick. Check our ground wires. Oh, keep losing our solenoid. solenoid keeps coming and going, so I'm going to check a couple of the ground wires and see if we can't get that solenoid back into shape. Still don't have anything from this switch though. Okay, let me try that again because I forgot to turn the ignition switch on there. So we got some noise. So what's that? There's a relay right here that's now clicking. So every time we do that, we get power to this relay. So now we're good from this switch to this relay. Now this relay drops down here and goes to the starter solenoid. Well, maybe if we hit on that solenoid some more. Yep. Well, we had it. I'm seeing a few sparks here. So I'm going to tighten up some of these wires down here because it's sparking at the connections, and this solenoid is jumping in and out just a little bit. So we're good on the switch, we're good on the relay. It's the solenoid that we're having issues with. So let's tighten that stuff down and give it another hit. Okay, wire check again. Make sure everything's still tight. See if we have it. Anything? Yeah, we don't have any power. It's gone somewhere. I'm going to try going back across these solenoids again. Okay, well, it works from there. See if it works from here. Sometimes if you backfeed that, it starts up again, but yeah, there's a little solenoid here. Oh, see? There's a points. This is sort of like one of those points, magnetic point cylinders. So this little unit right here, there's a magnet, and when you energize this, the magnet closes, and there's points right here, like there's contacts like on a set of old points, and when that magnet is energized, these points come together and your starter spins. So yeah, that's the old-timey system. Works well though. So now we know we're good down there, we're good here. So that just means we have problems right there again. Okay, I fooled around with these wires a little bit. I mean, they're just bare, and got to make sure they're not touching anything and grounding out. And now, well, it worked once. Yeah, we just do not have good connection. But now it's kind of working. I'm going to leave that battery disconnected because we're getting a lot more spark when I connect and unconnect that battery than we really should. But now it's turning over like it should. It's still making some noises. I hear noises coming from somewhere. I don't know what that is. Anyway, we are going to try to hook up the fuel pump and see if it will draw off of the tank. Oh, we got to check for spark too. We need to know if we have any spark. We got points on here. When you leave something set, the points never work right. So you might as well just go ahead and scrape the points right now and get that part over with. So I am just going to lean over here real quick and pop the old distributor cap off and have a look at these points and see if they're badly corroded or anything like that. So I'm looking in here, and surprisingly they look pretty good. The top of the rotor. This is the inside of the cap, and the inside of the cap looks nice. The points, if I open them up here, they look really pretty clean. There's a little corrosion on there, so I'm going to scrape that. The top of the rotor button looks good. It's a little dirty, so we'll just wipe that down. The contacts on the inside, they're a little bit dark, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. And the edge of that rotor button looks pretty good shape. Everything here actually looks really good, so I'm just going to scrape a little bit on the points and see if I have spark on the points, and if I do, we can continue on. I'm just going to use the old screwdriver here and scrape these while I have the ignition. You got to be careful. I have the ignition on and I'm scraping these and opening them up at the same time so it gets spark while I'm scraping. You have to be a little bit careful doing this because you don't want to ground it out while you're doing that. But it just helps you see when you've made enough spark, or you ground it down enough that you're getting spark. So it's getting spark right now. So I just took the screwdriver, scraped it real good, open and close the points, and she's getting spark. So that part is done. Next thing on the list is the fuel system. This is the boat tank. It's got the pump on it. I'm going to go ahead and see if the fuel pump works on the motor, on the engine first. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick the line. I already removed the line going to the tank and put this line on, and we'll just simply stick it right in there and see what we get. And if it does not work, then we have the fuel pump here. We can just go ahead and connect that up and feed the carburetor with the fuel pump on here, but hopefully this is going to work. So I got to turn on the ignition switch, connect the battery, and then we'll see if we can get this cranking around. All right, ignition is on inside. Our battery is connected, and let's see if this will crank. Nope. Hey, crank for a second. Check these wires again. And I have a clear fuel bowl right here that we can see if we're getting fuel. So, haven't got any fuel up to that fuel bowl yet, but it's a long way, so that doesn't mean we're not going to get it. So yeah, there's a little bit of rust in the very bottom of that fuel bowl, so let's go ahead and take care of that. And there's a filter, there's a stone filter right there, so that looks in good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit of this gasoline out of this tank into this little fuel bowl. I'm going to rinse it out just a little bit. That's environmentally friendly, isn't it? Just throw it on the ground. So we got a little spring in there too that we got to keep upright. There we go. So we got our little bit of fuel in there in the fuel bowl. That'll help get things going. And then I'll put a little bit of fuel down the old carburetor and see if she'll fire off. Okay, I'm going to put a little fuel in the carburetor. We'll do it the old school way. The secret is not to suck on the end of that hose too long. But yeah, now we got a little bit of gasoline in the bowl. We got a little bit into the carburetor. Our ignition system is on. Our battery is hot. Now let's give her a try again. And we lost it again. Hold on, jiggle some wires. Jiggle some more wires. Whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, that was good. She did fire up there. I'm going to add just a little bit more fuel into that carburetor. Make sure I got the right end there. There we go. It doesn't stop you from getting fumes in your mouth though. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, come on. She's firing. I just don't think she's getting fuel. That starter keeps jumping out. Make sure that we got the hose all the way in here. Okay. Try that again. Not drawing fuel. Let me get one more opportunity here, and then we'll hook up the fuel pump. Oh, he sucked too hard. Oh, gasoline in the mouth. Oh. Okay, didn't swallow. That is nasty. We should maybe not do that anymore. Oh. Oh, I'll be right back. I need a drink. Okay. Oh. Okay, much better. Little McDonald's sweet tea. Okay. Now we're ready. Let's not do that anymore. Bad idea. Forget I said that. Nobody try that. That is nasty. Come on. No, we're not getting fuel. We're gonna have to hook up the electric fuel pump and go directly to the carburetor. All right, line in. I can still take gasoline. Hook up our fuel pump. Let it get some fuel up into the carburetor. Oh, there we go. Oops, 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 oops. Wow. We just blew a bunch of gasoline past the float bowls there. Not float bowl, but the actual bowl. Maybe I didn't get that tight. Yeah, let me double check this fuel bowl here. Make sure I got it tight. I'm sure there's some sort of gasket that's up there too. I might not have got back in there. But let me plug this up again and see if it blows by again, or it's gonna seal. I'll just touch this for a minute. Nope, man, that blows right on out of there. That's a problem. Okay, well, I tried to tighten it back up again a little bit, and hopefully it will run on what's on the carburetor there. And I put the the main fuel pump back into the mix and just ran it directly in there. Maybe it'll run with not so much too much fuel pressure on it. Maybe it won't blow past there. So let's give it another shot. Still don't like not being able to pump that and crank it at the same time. It is running, and well, it's blowing fuel past that. So does that mean the fuel pump is working? The other one? Maybe. Ugh. Man, that is scary. That is pumping so much fuel onto the ground. I think our main fuel pump started working though, but we are just puking fuel everywhere. I'm gonna try to take this off and see what might be up inside of there. Maybe there's something, I don't know. For some reason it is not sealing at the bowl and this base. So let's check that out. Okay, so I took this all apart here, and this gasket that's inside of there is, you know, hard as a rock, and even the little fuel element kind of broke off of the base here. So we probably need to order another one of those, but I am going to see if I can make another gasket. But I'm going to use duct tape, because duct tape, it pretty much fixes everything. You know, it's a universal go-to. I'm just going to grab me a few strips here and just sort of lay them around the base here and build up me a little gasket area. Just cutting off some smaller strips. I'm going to put this around here, maybe fold it in half before, make it a little bit thicker, maybe. I don't know, but we're not going to find a gasket for this anywhere. If I had some gasket material, we could make one, but I don't here. So we are going to try to make do with what we have. So let me get this shoved in here. I'll put it back together, then we'll come back and see what happens. Ought to be interesting. Okay, I shoved a bunch of duct tape in there, and I tightened it real good, and I'm going to put it back together, and we are going to see what happens. This ought to be interesting, or just stupid. I'm voting for stupid. I seriously doubt if this even works, but I don't know. It might. Duct tape is a pretty universal tool. I've done a lot of bad things with duct tape before. So this goes back together pretty easy. We could run it upside down. There's that. Tighten up this other line here. There's that. All right. Let's see what happens this time. I stuffed some more in there, and I'm going to run it upside down so we can see quicker that it just pours out and doesn't really do anything. So it's still pouring. Well, wait. It's not it's doing the thing. It's not pouring out now. For some reason it just poured out a little bit and stopped. And it's running. I cannot believe that worked. Duct tape, flipping it upside down so it just doesn't fill up as doesn't fill up as much. And it runs, and the fuel pump is working. Wow. I cannot believe that worked. Take a look at this. Let's keep going. Look at that. and it's running. It was running. You heard it though. You heard that. It stopped. I mean, maybe that was just running on the fuel bowl. I don't know, but it was running, and it was running really, really smooth. After all these years, it sounded great. So probably, I don't know what happened. Probably the fuel pump just stopped, and it was just running off the fuel in the bowls down here. Anyway, I should just go ahead and call that a success, because it fired up and ran very incredibly smooth. I cannot believe how smooth this was running after sitting all those years. I mean, wow, that is pretty impressive. Too bad the tire blew up on it. Wonder if we can get some more fuel up there in those bowls and run it again. I really need to hear that one more time. Let's see if we can hear this run one more time. Yes, there she goes. And there is gas coming out, but I got the towel underneath of it to catch it. I want to see if this will go in the gear real quick before we run out of fuel with it. Forwards. Still dripping fuel, just a little bit. Seems to be just dripping a little fuel there, so maybe we did a little something and got it kind of sealed up. That smoke's the old oil and stuff burning off of there, so we're not really concerned about that. But yeah, she's running again and sounding pretty good. I just cannot believe how well this runs after sitting those years. I mean, it's incredible. These straight 8s are so smooth. They still got fuel, so I think the fuel pump, the original fuel pump, I think is working. So that's cool. All right, now she's shutting down again. Shutting herself down. Okay. She ran out of fuel again. Maybe that, I don't know. I don't know if that original fuel pump is working or not. I mean, still, the bowl is still full. It's still full, but she is she's dying after a while. Not bad. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. I want to at least move this back under its own power. If we can do that, then I will call it a success, and then we can move on later to doing some other things to make this roadworthy. Well, we totally blew up this tire right here. But I did find another tire in the trunk that looks just as bad as the one that blew up, and you know, could have blown up in our face. So why don't we just put that tire on instead? Yeah, that's a bit odd. Okay, there's that one. And this, yeah, this is a duplicate. It looks just like that one, same rim and everything. So this apparently is the original spare out of the car, and very well may be the original spare tire that came with the car, because it is in sad shape. Of course, it is flat as well, and I am not going to air it up until I get it mounted on the car and standing well away from it. I'm gonna grab the air pump here and I will turn it on and stand behind the camera and you can watch it. Okay. Well, I don't want to get my face down there, but that is solid. I don't know how much air pressure is in there because my gauge on the compressor isn't working well. So I would say about 20 pounds, 25 pounds. That ought to be good enough. I do not believe that tire exploded like that. Come here and look at this thing. Look how dry rotted this was. The whole sidewall just decided to rip and blow out. I mean, that was quite an explosion. And you can see these are bias plies. You can see it's got nylon cords in it instead of the steel cords that the newer tires have. So yeah, you fool with these bias plies, be very careful, especially if they are as old as these are. You air those up, put it on and walk away. And don't put your face back down there again, because I was doing absolutely nothing, not moving the car, and it exploded. It sounded like a shotgun went off. That's how loud it was. All right, I'm gonna fire this back up, see if we can throw it in reverse and get it back into our hole and call it a success. It runs. We have brakes. Brakes are still up. We have brakes, we have transmission, and we have engine. Hopefully enough to get it back there. Not a very good fuel system, but we should be able to move it back. Well, got it back right where it began. So we got it started, we got it moving, we blew up a tire, we didn't die, and we didn't catch fire. So 25 years of just sitting there doing nothing, and it's back to life. The engine sounds amazing. I think we're going to have to do a little bit more work to this and get this driving down the road again, because this engine sounds so good. And I actually have some brakes. I think if we bleed on these a little bit, we'll have full brakes without really having to do anything. Hopefully they come back around 100%. But that's going to do it for today. I'm going to have to order a few parts for this to get that fuel leak stopped, and maybe a new fuel pump, because I still don't know if that's working or not. So I call that a successful day. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Street Ride Garage. Until next time.